that you are an artist, that you absolutely are sharing this gift with us today. And I know you to be an amazing artist. And plus, you are a spiritual seeker that is just always so hungry to know more. And I love that about you. I love that you are curious, that you're always open to find out more, and that makes you a wonderful teacher. So teach us, beloved. Teach us. We are all yours.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's the fairies who've been the teachers. So I want to start with a little bit of background and then we'll go into our experience. I've always loved art and being expressive. Artistic expression is natural for each of us. We all are artists. And the summer series is an invitation to be playful and curious as we draw, paint, journal, and work with color and form. And we invite ourselves with great love and kindness to express without judgment. Art for the sheer joy of creating art. I had the wonderful privilege of living in the Hawaiian Islands for almost 20 years and experiencing living on the magical island of Kauai really opened my eyes and my heart to an unending sense of beauty and inspiration. My creativity really opened there as I was immersed in the beauty of nature all the time. The purple mountains, all the magnificent shades of green, the blue of the water, the white clouds, the vibrant colors of the tropical flowers. The abundance and richness of flora and fauna inspired within me the desire to explore art and creativity, and I began to paint in watercolors. Those of you who are artists already know that watercolors are probably the most challenging medium. So that's okay. They're unpredictable, which makes them fun and playful. While I was on the island of Kauai, the tropical flowers are so beautiful. They have bright, vivid colors. They have unusual shapes. They're all very unique and breathtaking, and they fascinated me. Who doesn't love flowers? There's a beautiful quality, an ethereal quality, a softness and a radiance in flowers. And as I believe, as we admire them, whether it's a flower, a leaf, a tree, a garden, when we're seeing that beauty, we're really seeing externally something that's a quality within us. We can't appreciate beauty unless we're beauty ourselves. Living in Hawaii, there's a fascination with the nature spirits and the elemental beings, and they're very accessible in Hawaii. I was introduced to them when I lived there. In Hawaii, we have the presence of what's called menehune. Menehune are called little people, and they're master builders and crafters. They build roads, walls, ditches, canoes. Some of them are only 6 inches high, and some are as tall as 2 or 3 feet. They live in the mountains in a forest away from humans. They're a very large part of the folklore in Hawaii. In Hawaii, everything feels so alive and vibrant. It's just accepted that the elemental beings, including the menehune, are thriving there. And because they are acknowledged, we feel their presence and they help create the beauty of nature. So we have tremendous support from the elemental kingdom, as Jennifer said. The devas, the nature spirits, our guides and angels all desire for us to be creative. Creativity nourishes our soul, and it's a wonderful spiritual practice. We can create not only through art, we create with musical instruments, with our voices in chants and singing. We write poetry and stories. We're creative in movement and in building things like gardens or making pottery or cooking. As children, most of us loved to paint and be creative. I remember how exciting it was to paint on an easel and to put a brush in the paint and just let it flow with abandon. Do you remember how playful and joyful you were when you got a box of new crayons. It was, it was so much fun. Watch children play with art and let their joy and enthusiasm be your joy now. In our academy, we've been playing with art journals and art, as well as studying the elemental world and the fairies, the elves, the undines, the sprites, the devas, and other nature spirits. We've expanded into the world of dragons and unicorns. For our class today, we're connecting with the fairies and devas of flowers and plants. They have been very excited about this summer series. And even though I thought I knew what I was going to do, they have their own agenda about what they wanted to share today. So there's many, many different types of flowers, but they wanted me to share with you this joyful process of creating in rainbow colors. The fairies love color, and they want you to experience color using your favorite colors as we do our process today. You can use this technique with any flower or plant or leaf or trees or even a landscape. The fairies also made me agree to offer a class on painting fairies and elves, so that'll come sometime in the future. So when we draw a flower or a plant, just like the elemental beings and fairies, we hold a vision or image of the flower or plant in our mind, and we allow it to inform us. The fairies remind us to draw what we see and draw what we feel. Study whatever you're drawing, whether it's a flower or a plant or a leaf. How many petals? What kind of leaf? What are the shapes? Are the edges jagged? Are they smooth? Are they square? How do I capture the essence of the plant or the flower? Every flower or plant has fairies and devas that have helped and supported in its creation. And as you play with art and painting, invite and feel their presence with you. So as I was creating examples of this process for the class today, which I will share later, I was very aware of the presence of the fairies and the nature spirits guiding me when I selected a color or encouraged me to flow and experiment and be bold and to let go of trying to make anything perfect. I was really surprised when I even saw some of them hanging on to the end of my paintbrush as I was painting. So these delightful beings are so happy to be playing and participating with us today. So before we start our painting, let's set up our art space, and then we'll enter into a brief meditation and visualization to connect with them. So I like having a poster board or something down on my dining room table because this is the biggest space I have. I have my computer up on some yoga blocks. When we go into the actual demonstration, I'm going to have you put me on speaker so my image is large, and I'm going to tilt my screen down to this surface. Okay, so some of you may have watercolors in this type of a form. Sometimes they come like in little discs or rectangular palettes. I have a big palette with all of my colors on it. So you want to have a container that has some water. I like using yogurt. Have some paper towels, a pencil, a gum eraser, and some of you have kind of a mixed media art journal. Some of you may have some watercolor paper. So have everything ready to go.
Lida, let's see if anybody has a question before you keep going.
Any questions?
Here, Pura, would you unmute yourself, beloved?
You're still muted, dear.
Okay.
There you
Can you
are.
hear me now? Okay. I saw your email today, so I'm not really prepared.
Okay.
So I have a few, piece of paper, and I had this to put it on, and I do have few colors, and so I'll get ready for the next class. For today, I just do the best I can, and I have
Do
no
the best you
experience at
can
all.
and watch. And Jennifer is recording this, so you can go back. It's
On the,
really helpful to have the right materials.
absolutely,
A
yes,
particular process will not
yes,
work
yes,
with, like markers or pencils. Watercolor uses water, and the pigment,
yes,
when it touches the water, it just kind of explodes. And so
yes,
it makes a beautiful
yeah, yes,
effect. So you will
yes,
be fine
yes.
watching
I
and playing
yes.
with what you have.
Yes, I do have some, some color. I hope, but like I
Oh,
said,
yeah.
I joined the class today, so
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, so
You're
I
going to be
do.
fine.
Yeah, and I
Use
have
what you
some brooch.
have.
Yeah, I have
Absolutely.
some brooches too. I have some because I took one class a long time ago,
Okay,
and I still have, whatever is left, but I don't have the mixed media, so I'll go to buy that,
that's okay.
sometime.
Well, I'm so glad that you were able to come.
Yes, this it was meant to be because, like I said, I saw the email today and I joined the class.
Good.
But I didn't have a chance to, go to the store and get, the extra thing that I need. But
Well, you have all summer.
yeah, absolutely, yes. And I had it replaced to practice
Yeah,
and just
and
go over.
with art, just like with anything, the more we do it, the more comfortable we feel.
Yes, absolutely,
So
yes.
I'll show you in a moment. When I did this process, I did like 6 or 7 of them, and they're all different. And it just allows you to flow. And
Yes,
the whole intention is to have fun and not be
absolutely.
afraid of color,
Yeah.
not be afraid of art, not be afraid of expressing, and just letting that child.
Absolutely. And I'm
And as
willing to
Carol
do it.
said, she wanted to be wild and free and light, and that's what this is about.
Absolutely. And
So
I'm
thank
willing
you
to
for
do just, yes, I'm
Valerie.
willing
Did
to
you
do
have a
this.
question?
I do have a question. So, relative to like our water, are we like using one thing of water and like just going back in and out? Like I know with our acrylics, right? You've got like different colors and little things. Like here, do we need to have different things of water for different colors? I guess I don't know if I'm asking the question.
No, you're asking a great question. I actually have 2 containers of water just to have them. When we do watercolors, you want to have one container that's just clean water that doesn't have any pigment on it. That one you're going to be applying on a particular section of what we're doing and then applying the color. You'll see when I do it. So
Lida,
yes.
I'm going to
Lida,
be
Lida,
venturing.
Hang on
sorry,
a
go ahead.
second. Paula, why don't you go? And then Julena's had her hand up for quite a while. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Pardon
Paula.
me?
Go ahead, Paula.
Yeah, I am going to be using my watercolor pens. And I know you weren't real excited about that, but it's what I have. And this is the water pen. So I have 2 of those.
You can try it and see
Okay.
what happens. Again, it's like being playful.
Otherwise, it's going to be colored pencils.
Okay, thanks, Paula. And Julena?
I was all set to do acrylics, so I guess I have to run downstairs and get my watercolors, right? Because we're just doing watercolors.
We're doing water.
Yes, I understand watercolors are very particular. So if you have watercolors,
They're
use
very
them.
different.
Yeah, I do.
So go run downstairs and get
I'm
your.
sorry, Lida, you broke up.
Go downstairs and get your
Okay,
water.
I will.
Okay, I think we're ready to begin. Anybody else have a question? Everybody's getting settled, so.
So everybody's got their water. They've got watercolors. They've got brushes and some paper.
If we have a flower, should we have it present? I mean, if we have something in front of us or?
Well, I have something that the Faeries said that they wanted to do. So it would be nice for everybody to do that.
Great.
If you don't want to do that, you could always do whatever flower you have. But it is.
I'm going with the Faeries.
It's really nice to have whatever it is. And I thought I was going to be doing a lot of different flowers. So I painted poppies and sunflowers, but then you couldn't see the sketches and the pencil, so there was no way I could demonstrate. So the fairies told me what to do. Okay, Julena, welcome back. So let's start. Let's take a few moments just to drop inside again into our beautiful hearts. Close your eyes and take a few breaths. Rest your awareness in your beautiful heart. Taking several deep inhales and exhales. Beginning to tune in to that joy and curiosity and creativity. Take a moment to connect to Pachamama beneath you. And send your grounding cord from your tailbone deep into the earth to wrap 3.5 times around the crystal iron core at her center. And feel yourself grounded to our beautiful Pachamama that we sang a song to. In the name of love and in the name of our beloved I Am Presence, I call and request all of our teams and guides to be with us. I call on the angels of art and creativity, all the angels on the pink ray of divine love and beauty and art. I call on Paul the Venetian, who is a great artist and who supports all artistic endeavors, to be with us now. We invite with love the presence and joy of the fairies and the nature spirits. We open our minds and hearts and beings to connect with beauty and joy and creative expression and their presence more fully. Take a moment and in your mind's eye, see, sense, feel, and imagine yourself in a beautiful garden. Feel soft grass underneath your feet, warm sun on your face, a gentle breeze cooling your skin. Flowers, bushes, trees, and vines are all around you, enticing you with their beauty. This is an enchanted garden. As you walk around the garden, you feel and sense the nature spirits, and especially the fairies there with you. The air is charged with the energy of joy. Let all your senses dive deep into this enchanted garden. The smell, the sounds, the sensations, all of it. Feel joy bubbling up within you. One fairy comes and touches your forehead to open up your inner vision, to perceive all of them more clearly, or to sense them more clearly, to be aware of their presence and their love. Other fairies come to you to open your inner vision, your inner hearing, your inner senses. Feel a childlike wonder building in your mind and in your heart. Feel your heart opening to beauty itself. Feel the fairies and nature spirits filling you with joy and delight and creativity and the easy expression of it. Feel them removing any resistance or hesitation you may have. Feel them clearing your mind and the ability to focus and concentrate on beauty and color and form. Feel the loving support they have for us and our creations. Feel them activating excitement and enthusiasm for artistic expression in this creative project they have designed for you. The little fairy that touched your forehead is coming back with you to guide you in your painting today. He or she is bringing the energy and the expression of all kinds of support to keep you in joy and wonder. Take a moment to thank our friends for their love and support. gather into your body and being the energy from this enchanted garden and the beauty that's here, the joy, the enthusiasm. Take a couple breaths to anchor it into your body and being. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and come back into the present moment, keeping that joy and delight the fairies blessed you with. So I invite you to put me on speaker. And Jennifer, I think you have to put me on speaker from your computer.
Yeah, you already are.
Okay, because I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing you instead of me. Okay,
You have to make some noise, Lida.
I'm making some noise, but I still see you. Okay, I'll just have to do it this way.
I hear you fine. Why do you concern?
Yeah, no, I want my picture to be big on the screen.
Well, then you have to put speaker view and pin yourself there.
Okay,
Have yourself on speaker view.
I have myself on speaker. There we go. Okay. So some of you have a journal and some of you have paper. What the fairies wanted me to do today was a rainbow colored monstera leaf. I have one sketched in pencil, but you can't see it because of Zoom. So what I'm going to do is outline it in a Sharpie so you can see this design. These leaves in the tropics are huge and they're beautiful. And normally they're all different colors of green and yellow. And they have little holes in them, kind of like Swiss cheese. So you're going to be sketching this on a piece of paper, not using a Sharpie. So a plant has a vein that goes down the center. And then the other veins come in but don't connect. They
So
come,
is the intention for us all to do the same piece like you're doing?
yes.
Okay, beautiful, thanks.
So this is, I want to hold that up for you to sketch with a pencil on your paper. It's kind of whimsical looking. The edges are round, some of them are square.
You are assuming that we have sketching abilities.
Lida, please speak again so we can see your.
Okay.
Can you hold it up again? I can't see it.
Yeah, Valerie, you have to quit talking so we don't keep seeing you.
You can pin her so that she doesn't move.
I pinned myself.
All right, I'm going to pin her. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Come back. I'm gonna take a picture of what you just did. So
Okay, you can do a screen
goes
share,
away. There we go.
and we're recording this.
I don't see Lida on my speaker
I
view.
don't know what, I'm seeing
Now
myself.
I see you.
Okay, I guess I have to keep on talking. So have fun just flowing with the pencil. Curves and valleys, circles in the middle. It's just a basic outline. If you want to, you don't have to put the little circles in the middle if you don't want to, but just the outline of the leaf would be fine. You do not have to put the veins on the inside. With this exercise, I like making it as big as you can because it gives you more room to play, especially with the water and the watercolor, which you'll see. You can do them smaller, but for your first attempt, I would try big.
Now you tell me that it's all small.
Well, we had suggested a 9x12 piece of paper or your art journal. How's everybody doing?
So should I redraw it since it's like lopsided and half of it's small?
I think you should leave it because it's perfect, whatever you did.
Yes. So you can watch for a moment. So I have another one that I drew that just has the pencil sketch. And I'm going to show you what the fairies had in mind.
Lida, I think if you move back a little bit, we'll see more of you, more of the, yeah.
You can't see me and the paper at the same time.
No, if you move the paper back towards your body, we'll see more of it, yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. Zoom is such an interesting thing.
Good thing we're adaptable, creative creatures.
I know. So in watercolor, we dip our brush in the water and you dip it in the water and you just take the excess off. And then I'm going right up to the pencil line that I drew. And I'm being generous with the water. The pigment will only go as far as the water is, so it's not going to go beyond the edge of where I'm applying my water. So I invite you to watch this first before you start painting. So I'm getting the bottom piece and the first section wet. I'm staying inside the lines. Then I'm going to apply some color. And the moment I put color on here, it's going to start spreading. I'm going to use a little purple.
So you've already gotten your paints wet.
No, the brush is wet. The brush is wet, and then I'm dipping it into the paint.
And I see that your brush is pretty thick. Like, so is working with like a brush that's this size not going to be advisable? Your brush.
You can use a small brush. I'll use a small brush too. I was using a bigger brush to apply the paint, but I can use a small brush.
My bigger brush is square, but you'd said to use.
That's okay. You can use a square brush, but you can apply paint.
Are the circles actual holes?
They're actual holes. It's kind of like Swiss cheese. So I'm going around them, or you can just eliminate them completely.
And what about the lines that you had, like the
The lines
veins?
are just there. You don't have to worry about the lines yet.
Paint over them, you're saying?
You can paint over the lines and just leave a space for the holes. I like working with a bigger brush.
Shall we begin?
No, I want you to watch for a moment.
Oh,
Okay.
I know.
shoot. I already started putting water on.
Let's see.
So your colors, you're gonna have purple, blue, orange, red, pink, yellow.
That's the colors you want us to use?
You can use whatever color you want, but I'm just, it's like you're being very loose. I'm applying the water and then I'm putting the paint on. I'm gonna fill in.
You want us to start painting or just put the water
No,
on?
I
Just watch. We're just watching.
I'm watching.
I know it's hard to watch when you want to paint.
I wasn't finished drawing yet, so.
Well, that's okay. So the water is still wet on this. And you can keep on dropping in color.
Wow. So
Okay.
cool.
You're using the same brush, just putting it in different colors. That's what I'm seeing.
I'm cleaning it off. So I want to show you some that I finished so you get a sense of what happens. So this is what you're creating. Many, many different colors. I drew different ones and used different color combinations. This one I just used green and yellow. But it's very playful, very creative, kind of looks like an amoeba, but it's really this plant that's a monstera leaf. So it's getting the basic sketch down, then wetting a piece of the paper.
So if I have, you have obviously wet watercolors already, because if I have them in a rectangle thing, I have to get them wet.
You have to get them wet. So mine, they're actually, most of them are dry. Some of them are a little bit more liquid than others because I've been working with them. So you can use your brush to get the squares wet.
Okay.
So I guess it means my paintbrush is cheap if the hair is falling off onto my piece of.
Mine's doing the same thing.
It's
Like I'm
initiated.
having to clean up
You
my hair.
initiated it.
It's unusual for the hair to come out.
So first we're going through and painting our piece with water.
You're painting a section of it, like the bottom part and, maybe a third of it with water, or
And
just
then going back and covering it with paint and then doing it with water. So you don't do the whole thing with water.
watching how the paint kind of explodes when you put it in the water. A lot of watercolor is very tight and very precise. And if you're not familiar with them, this is a way just to introduce you to, well, what happens when I put the pigment on here?
Okay, so after I put the water on my little sketch, I wet my brush again and stick it in some of my cut water.
Right, and then apply it.
We're starting to paint now?
Yes, you can start to paint now.
Yay, this is so fun.
And this is the first time you're trying something like this. So the invitation is to make a couple sketches of this incredible leaf and keep on doing them. Seeing how the water moves, how the pigment moves, what colors you like. Remember to breathe.
My freaking brush keeps losing hair. Should I just leave the hair in there and pick it out later?
Yes, you can.
Bugging me.
So the colors don't have to make sense. The leaf doesn't look like this in real life, but there's a whole form of art that uses this rainbow kind of color technique. So you're honoring the form. So you can take your favorite flower and sketch it and then just apply colors randomly as one way of doing this. Is everybody applying paint?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm seeing it go, it just goes wild.
Yes.
You can drop in more color at the corners or the edges. So it's almost like you're getting out of your thinking mind. Part of our mind wants to control things, and watercolors, when you're doing on the wet like this, you don't control it.
I think that's the beauty of it.
It is, it gives a texture and a depth. I also paint with acrylics, and I want my acrylics to do what my watercolors do. So I end up going back to watercolors. I love the unpredictability of it.
Yeah, the flow, it's beautiful.
So you'll have fun continuing to play with this. What would this look like if you did it all in purples and pinks, or if you did it all in blues, or if you did all the colors of the chakras, whether it's the light body chakras or the Indian system of chakras? And usually with watercolor, we don't use black or white. You often leave white in a painting. Some watercolor sets will have black and white, but we usually don't use them. If you're going to make dark shadows, you combine colors together, like red and green and orange to get brown, and you can add purple for black. But right now we're playing with bright colors.
Why do we put water on first if
To
we're,
make it flow, you can also do watercolors where you just, you know, put the pigment on the brush and you put it down, but that is a different technique. This is something
oh, so this is this particular technique, okay.
you can have wet on dry, you can have dry on dry, you can have wet on wet. There's a technique where you get the entire piece of paper wet and you just apply
Yes.
different pigment and then you let it dry, and then you can take like India ink or a marker, and then what do I see in this? But the fairies were really insistent about working with lots of color because they love color in a form that's a little unusual. I mean, you could do this with a circle, but it's more fun that it's a leaf. And then on your own during the week, you can try sketching like a sunflower or a poppy or something that you have from your yard. Make sure you're breathing.
So how did you keep your holes from not filling with paint?
I didn't put any water in it. So if you, like I said earlier, you don't have to have the holes. You can just cover them up with water
Mhm.
and you won't have the holes, but I left mine open. So again, there's no right or wrong. This is just one idea.
Mhm.
Watercolors are a wonderful way to be playful. Again, it's hard to control what it's going to do. So you have to, your mind relaxes and gets out of the way. This is a wonderful thing to do just to warm yourself up, to sketch out a couple of these leaves ahead of time, and then do several of them in a row. You can overwork a watercolor too. So this is designed to just take a couple minutes to do once you have your sketch. So is it working for you guys?
Mhm.
Yes, it's hard to talk and paint at the same
I
time.
know, that's why I was trying to apply the paint and answer questions at the same time.
And I know I'm having fun.
I'm a little irritated in my paintbrush, but other than that, it's fabulous. I thought that it would like stop losing hairs after like a little bit, but it's still insistent.
Oh my goodness.
So you can spend a lot of money on art supplies. They have brushes that are hundreds of dollars, but you don't need to spend hundreds of dollars.
Well, clearly I need to spend more than $5.99.
So it's very different than working with finger painting like we did last time.
Lida, do you ever paint with your non-dominant hand?
I do. But for this today, I am using my dominant hand. But I actually paint with both hands, yes. So I do all my journaling with my non-dominant hand. So my non-dominant hand has gotten steadier.
I was told it helps you not to hold on to your pencil or your pen too tightly.
Right, so I'm holding the brush very lightly. I'm continuously dipping my brush in the water and removing the excess and then dipping into the paint. So Jennifer, are you having some success?
I found out how to make brown.
Okay.
How to make what?
Brown, purple and yellow make brown.
Using bright colors at first, because yellow and orange and red and pink and purple will all move together. If you put purple and yellow together, they're complementary colors. They will create like a brown.
Yeah.
When I was teaching kindergarten and the kids would paint these beautiful, like all these beautiful colors, and then inevitably at the end, they say, wonder what would happen if we mix everything all together.
Yeah.
And it would end up being a black painting.
Blob.
But that's what they needed to find out.
You know, something to play with and to learn about. So it's a process of discovery. What happens when I add more color, but keeping the colors vibrant. Breathing and feeling joy. This might be a new medium for many of you, so just have fun in the process. It's not about making something perfect. It's just applying color with the water.
The orange and yellow are beautiful.
Yeah, they are. They really
Those are beautiful colors.
pop it out. After this dries completely, you can take your gum eraser and erase
So lopsided.
pencil lines.
After it dries, you can erase the pencil. Wow.
You can, but you have to have a gum.
And it doesn't impact the painting.
No. So a gum eraser, they're these gray. like if
Yeah,
you-
I bought.
Yeah, so that, I mean, you gently, because when you sketch for a watercolor, it's a light sketch. You're not using a charcoal pencil, but you're using like a number 2 pencil. So you can erase the lines. You can go back in with a very small brush and you can paint in the veins if you wanted or not.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
This is like a crash course in watercolors, which
That's what mine looks like.
Crash course. Oh my God, you're funny.
the thing about art is give yourself a lot of gentleness and kindness and sketch, 3 or 4 or 5 of these and then keep on applying the color and you'll start having a deeper relationship with the brush, with the leaf. You could also draw something like a maple leaf or a leaf from another plant. Start with something really simple. A leaf often has a point at the top and a stem.
Hmm.
And that's another way, but to jump right in and do a complicated flower would, it's asking a lot. So the fairies were, they can't see your sketches, so let's do something big.
I think I bought the wrong eraser. I don't think this is the gum eraser.
So you're not going to be erasing anything right now because it's wet.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't think you said that it's I don't think this is the gum eraser.
Okay.
Realize.
So they're very inexpensive at an art store, or you can leave the pencil lines. As you go look at art at different galleries and you look at the watercolors, sometimes you'll see they leave the pencil lines in, and some take them out.
How long does it take for it to dry?
It depends how wet you got the paper. You can use a hair dryer. So I wouldn't be in any hurry to just let it dry naturally. When watercolor dries, sometimes it'll create what's called blooms. It'll create different textures in it, and you won't know what that is till it dries. Let me show you. So in this one, I have some blooming in here. Can you see?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So I took a micron pen and I just traced on the outside so you could see it. But I could paint the lines in, and there's like blooming in here.
And that's a process that happens as it dries.
It happens as it dries. The other thing about watercolor, it may look really intense and bright right now, but as it dries, the color fades a little bit.
All of your pages look really flat. Mine is curling up.
Are you using watercolor paper?
Yes.
Okay.
Mine is too.
Mine
Even
are
though
curling too.
Yeah. It's what I think is because of what I'm thinking is that there's a pooling of water with the paint in it, and I'm leaving it there to see what happens.
And some people also, they tape their pages onto a board, but I wanted you to just have freedom and not feel you could move it around and you're playing. So it's not about perfection. It's just an experiment, and be curious. What happens when I drop the paint in?
You can totally get into finger painting because I was trying to get the hairs out that are in my painting. And it's cool because it has a little.
I haven't tried finger painting with watercolors, just acrylics.
Let's see if anybody else has something to say or ask. If you do, just unmute yourself. Or maybe you're just in reverie of doing the art and you don't need to say anything. Your edges look really defined, Lida.
Well, that's because I just used the brush. Well, not all of them are. And then I use the brush to put the water because the pigment isn't going to go beyond where the water is. So again, it's practicing, playing. You can also take a smaller brush with some paint and go on some of the edges to define it, or you can use, Paula, I think you said you had watercolor pencils. You can use watercolor pencils or other pencils, but I was trying to make this just with watercolors.
If you water down acrylics, do they become watercolor?
No. Michelle may have more experience with that than me, but I'm finding I can't make acrylics do this. I'm used to the watercolors. Acrylics are thicker. So you have to experiment with both. But I think this is really fun because it's really outside the box.
Yeah, I love it.
I think acrylics, this is Carol or Sage, acrylics are more rubbery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
there's
don't
quite a
have,
few different types.
Sometimes
yeah,
acrylics
watercolors seem to flow different.
well, because it's water-based. You can add water to acrylics, but they're not as transparent as watercolors are. They don't flow in the same way.
So Lida, I'm using acrylic inks.
Oh,
because I
okay.
don't have, so I have a lot of acrylics and a lot of
Okay.
different forms of acrylics, but I don't have watercolor.
Okay.
And the acrylic inks they're still not the same thing as watercolor, but you can do a similar process because they're already fluid. And but you know, there are also high flow acrylics which move more like watercolor. But you're right, Carol. Acrylic as a base has a polymer, and that's what makes it acrylic. It is literally rubber. Yeah, it's got a glue in it that's that holds it together, that binds the pigment is the glue base. So the acrylic inks are quite lovely and quite watery, but they're still not going to get exactly the effect. But they're a lot of fun.
I would love to play with acrylic inks. I haven't yet. So that'll be the next.
Well, they can do something similar in that you can lay down water and then you can drop ink into it and it will just do that movement that's so mesmerizing. But yeah, they're kind of fun.
Oh, thank you. So it's more art play for everyone.
Yes.
I just want to say I'm having fun dipping my paintbrush in the creek because I didn't bring water.
Oh, oh
yeah.
You might have a little bug in there too. Or some
a little friend.
So how do you know if you've overdone a picture? You did. That's not the word you used.
It starts getting muddy, so put a timer on, like just give yourself 5 or 10 minutes and
Oh,
stop.
that's what I did.
And put it
Okay.
away, and then just get another piece of paper and sketch something. So it's, you know, a lot of times watercolors, you paint for a while and then you put it, you know, most artists have 5 or 6 things or more that they're working on. Because you may get to a point, well, what am I going to do now? Oh, I have to wait. But this is a simple, fun process to draw a leaf, to wet it, and apply paint.
Do we have a, do we have a time to do another one?
If you want to do another one, you can, absolutely.
I've done 2 so far.
That's great. And the second and the third one will be different because you're getting used to, you're being more relaxed. You're getting used to the color or working with the color. There may be places where the water is pooling and you can use kind of the end of a paper towel to pick up some of it without removing the pigment.
So I'm going to take this opportunity to just say, if you haven't signed up for the Facebook page yet, please do, because it's a great place for us to share as we go. And I think, Lida, it would be great for you to speak into sharing and the self-consciousness that may come with that or not.
Well, a lot of times art class, different art classes are set up differently. I've been in ones where you're not allowed to comment on anybody's painting. It's not about getting approval for something. This is more of a process of awakening artistic expression in you and working with color.
Right.
I'm not really on Facebook, but I'm happy to get some help to post some things. And it's just fun to see what people do with color. What colors you're choosing to put on your beautiful Monstera leaf. So if you're comfortable, please put it on Facebook, or we can just post with everybody's email that's on the link for the summer series.
I'd rather us do it on Facebook because it'd be a lot simpler.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be much simpler and yeah.
So you might want to try painting a couple of these and then pick the one that you enjoy. But again, it's not about being perfect. Your leaf may not look like a leaf. I don't know, mine's like a big amoeba, but I feel so much joy when I do this. Just looking at the colors, applying the pigment.
I found that tapping these little pools of color, keep them, well, just different techniques that I haven't tried before.
There's many different techniques. I'm trying to keep it simple. I mean, you can splatter paint, but that's a whole different thing. And we didn't talk about wearing an apron or anything. So we're just keeping the paint on the paper. Are you enjoying this?
Yes.
Mhm.
Fairies want to know.
Yes, very much.
Absolutely.
Michelle, have you done something like this before with the multicolors?
Not specifically, not with a leaf and not with the watercolor. I've done very little in watercolor, Lida, so I'm enjoying this.
Okay, good. We have a beautiful collective energy working together.
Mhm.
And we're working with Zoom.
Yeah.
Imagine it.
Zoom is our friend.
Hey, Queen Judith, I see you standing up there. What are you holding court with now? What are you doing?
I'm painting.
Okay.
Her inner child is coming out.
Leave me alone. I'm painting.
No, it's okay.
When you're doing something like this, it's really hard to think about anything else, right? It's like you're
Right.
so focused. So it's such a healing tool to paint because it gets us in the present moment. We're in our body, we're breathing. We always pray and connect. So as you go about your week, reconnect and draw another type of leaf or draw a big flower and fill it in with all of these different colors. And it's playful. I just want to emphasize it's playful, it's creative, it's not structured. Everybody's going to create something different and they're all going to be beautiful. I love that you're standing, Judith. It's like you can dance while you're painting.
Yeah, it's much easier that way. I'm very curious about the fact that I can't get smooth edges. And I know it's probably because I didn't get the water smoothly up to the edge.
That's okay. So you can get a smaller brush and put
Yeah.
some water and some pigment on it and gently go in some of the places that you want a smoother edge.
Yeah, I have been trying that. We'll see.
And
Sometimes it works.
normally a lot of art classes you're in person, so you can. It's so much easier to do things in person. Where, yeah, I could come over and help.
Come on over.
Yeah, Zoom. We have Zoom, but I'm glad because we have people from all over.
Oh.
Well, Lida, we're right about at 90 minutes right now.
Okay.
Really? Wow.
Wow.
More time, more time. Huh.
Well, you can always continue to paint. Be playful. You can smile while you're painting too. So Jennifer, did you want to do a closing prayer?
It's up to you, honey. You're whatever you want to do.
Okay, well, I invite you to, I want to honor our time, to continue painting. Try another one and another one and another one. It's like we have this thing about how we want it to be perfect the first time. And just keep on doing it, just like we did with the finger painting. And Valerie, you found out I finger paint every day and they're so different, right? Yeah, so it's like you can do watercolors every day too. So I want to end with a benediction. So taking a moment, placing your hands on your heart, taking a deep breath. So grateful for this opportunity to start our summer art series with watercolors, with connecting with the fairies, with connecting color, with beauty, with each other. So grateful for the beautiful unfolding of this wonderful technique that the fairies suggested that we do today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to everyone for your open hearts, for your willingness to play, for your willingness to tap into that inner child, to creativity, to joy, to lightness. I'm so grateful for Jennifer and the Academy for allowing this to happen. Oh, so grateful to all the beautiful beings of light that are with us, continue to be with us as we continue our spiritual practice of art in whatever way that's comfortable to us, whether it's with watercolors or acrylics or acrylic inks or watercolor pencils or pens. Just the art of being creative brings so much joy and it's so nurturing for us. So I'm so grateful for the beautiful unfolding of art and for the inner artist coming out to play today, and that inner artist continues to play, to create, and to post on Facebook if you're comfortable. So grateful for everyone here, so grateful for your loving support, and with a full heart, I release my words to the law, knowing it is done, it is perfect, it is complete, and together we say,
And so it is.
Yes, beloved I am.
So much. I can't wait to, does anyone want to share what they created that would be fun? Just to hold it up.
Oh, wow, Cheryl, that's so cool. Look at that. Oh, awesome. Wow. I love it.
All right.
Wow. Cool. Wow, Deborah, I love yours. Got some really vivid turquoise in there.
And Carol, you did too. Good.
Mine's dripping.
And we get to see the water element from Cheryl too, showing us Wyoming water.
Oh, beautiful.
I got much into the water myself.
Ooh, pretty.
Nice.
Awesome. I just want to open it up too. If anybody has any logistic questions, we have some people that are new here, and I just want to make sure you have everything you need. If anybody having trouble getting on the website or anything, please ask.
I just want to say too that I had already planned next week. I'm actually going to Lake Michigan with my family.
Awesome.
Never ever been, of course, anywhere near there. So it's very exciting. So I'll miss next week, but I will definitely look at the recording. Thank you so much. This is fabulous.
Awesome. Jane, are you good? Okay, great. Awesome. All right. All right, we're going to say goodbye for now. We'll see you next week. Michelle's going to lead us. Michelle, you want to talk a little bit about next week before we go?
No.
Okay.
Awesome.
Be surprised. And Michelle said you could use whatever you got. So whatever supplies you got, that's
bring
good.
it.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
All good.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Lida,
Bye.
so much.
Thank you, Lida.